Hello everybody, I'm Thomas and welcome back to the 17th video of this series in which I'll be playing through the Hadrian's Wall solo campaign. Today I'll be attempting fort number 12, Cambaguana. I think that's how you pronounce it. Its description reads, Cambaguana guarded an important approach to the wall and also watched the east bank of the Cambeck against the raiders from the Bew Castle area. The fort rules is that I draw an additional fate card during each picked invasion. Okay. For the fort goals, I have to score 70 plus VP and have no disdain at the end. Okay. And for the challenge, I need to get 10 plus VP from path cards. Okay, that seems pretty straightforward. I got my bonus from last fort, so let's go ahead and get started. See what resources I get for this year. Cool. And then let's see what my options for path cards are. Either completed citizen tracks or collected goods. Probably go with citizen tracks. Generally, that's one I just get more easily. Collected goods, I have to go out of my way to build the market and sell goods and all that nonsense. So that card gets me an extra civilian and resource. With my board, I get a resource from my resource production. And yeah, with that, we're on our way with year number 1. Okay, so I think the main things I need to focus on, obviously my path cards up here, I need to keep a better eye on, make sure I get a decent amount of points from. It seems like I need to get basically at least 2 points from most of them on average. But the other thing I need to focus on is cohorts, because there's going to be more picks attacking each round. So I'll do the old start with a builder on the fort, and let me spend 1 resource on the wall, which will get me a civilian. I will spend my 2 servants up here on mining and foresting. Luckily that's back to normal after last fort, so I get my resource production along with a resource. And then spend my 2 builders here on the fort just to expand that out a bit more. Okay, I will spend a civilian on this track. That gets me a builder. I will spend that builder over here on the fort, and that gets me a civilian back. But most importantly, I can now spend 3 resources on my wall. First gets me nothing, the next gets me a civilian, and the last gets me a little bit of renown, which I don't really care about. I care about the cohort, which I will fill in the center one. We'll then, of course, send at least 1 soldier on the wall guard to get another cohort, and I'll go with the left one. And then I will spend 2 civilians down here on this track, which will get me a soldier, and I'll spend that one along with this one to fill in 2 tracks on the wall guard. The first will get me a bit of discipline, which is nice, but then most importantly, I get a cohort, so I will fill in the right one, and I'm not entirely protected yet, because there's still a chance something could break through. So let's see if I can do anything else. See, it would have been nice if I was able to build a small temple and get some extra favors. I'll probably try to do that next year, because the temples I will probably do to get the extra favors, and I'll probably do the gardens anyway. I'll be focusing on the priest side a decent amount. So hopefully I'll get a good card pairing when it comes to the filled temples card and something else, so I can maybe go with filled temples. But that's a little bit down the ways. For now, I will spend this civilian on the performers track. That will get me a builder, which I will put on the fort, and then I will spend this resource on the wall to get me a civilian. I could do something like this. I could spend both, this maybe not be the best idea. I could spend both civilians here. That'll get me a discipline and a builder, and the discipline I will mark off down there. And the builder I will get, which then I can spend the builder on the fort to get me another civilian. I can then spend this civilian on this track down here to get me some discipline. The discipline will in turn get me a builder, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. That was my whole plan, to get a builder, but then what? I guess I could send him on the training grounds or just expand the fort a bit more. We're just gonna go with the training grounds. So year 1, it's not gonna get me anything, but whatever. Okay, so year number 1, 2 picks attacking. There is a good chance that one is gonna break through, so let's see how this goes. The first is on the left, and the second is on the right. So we're safe year 1. That's gotta be a good sign, right? So I get just 1 valor from protecting from that. All right, let's see what my next supply card is. Okay, so that goes there. Let's see what my 2 path cards are. Either large buildings or filled temples. Sheesh. I guess I'll go with filled temples, because I'm gonna try to do that. Large buildings, I might get a few, but I'm gonna try to shoot for large temples, the filled temples, just because, yeah. More picks are gonna be attacking, so it's gonna be a harder round, and all that good stuff. I'm gonna be trying, like I said, to go for the priest track a little bit anyway, since I want the gardens to help out with all of the citizen tracks, since I have the planner path card up here to complete citizen tracks. Then I get 2 resources because of my resource production, and with that, we're on our way with year number 2. I want to start going down the priest track a bit, maybe get the small gardens built, that would be nice. The trader's track, I really should go down a little bit, at least maybe get the small precinct built. Extra resources are nice. I maybe want to build some of the small hotels, small workshops, we'll see. There's probably a lot of building I want to do this year. So my civilian, I'll go ahead and spend on the priest track, like I kind of talked about, get that going just a little bit. Because then that at least allows me to spend a servant, a builder, and a resource on the small temple. Not the filled temple. It's not filled yet. It's just a small temple. But I can fill it at some point, so. I will then go ahead and spend a servant, a builder, and a resource down here to get myself a small hotel and another civilian. Because right now I don't have any, so that'll be nice to have each year. Well, I'm going to go ahead and spend both of these soldiers over on the wall guard. The first will get me a bit of discipline, and the next will allow me to fill in a cohort, which I will just go with the center one. I'm really tempted to build the small workshop, but I don't think that's the best move right now, because I could just put the builder there, spend 2 resources there, and I'd have another cohort to fill in, and then I'll just do something with them. So yeah, I think that's an okay move. Unless there's another way I can get discipline pretty easily, which it looks like at a glance there's not. So yeah, I'll go ahead and spend the builder on the fort, and that'll get me 1 discipline. And then I will spend both of these resources on the wall, and that'll get me another cohort, which I will go with the left one. Yeah, there's not a crazy amount I can do right now, so I will put, I guess I could fill the temple with these guys. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. I'll fill the temple, right? Because I only need to be level 1 to do that, and I'll spend both of them. First, we'll fill in the empty spot. The next, I will get a bit of piety, and I will have a favor to protect against those extra picks that are going to be coming here now. I will have 3 picks attacking. So let's see what happens. I got 2, 2, and 1 with a favor, so I might be sitting okay with only 3 picks, maybe, right? And a center and a left. Pretty good. So with that, I get 2 Valor, which gives me a soldier to start. All right, let's see what my next path card is going to be. All right, there's that. Then let's see what my 2 path card options are. Either completed scout columns or wall sections. I tend to find wall sections to be a lot easier, so I will go with that. And then the scout columns gives me an extra soldier. Then because of my board, I get 2 resources. And then because of my small hotel, I get a civilian. With that, we're on our way with year number 3. So one of the first things I always like doing in year 3 is spending the builder, the servant, and a resource to build the medium granary and get that going. Okay, I don't like doing this often, but I'm going to spend just 1 soldier on the fort here to get me a civilian. Because then I'm going to spend all 3 civilians over here on the priest track. First gets me nothing, the second will get me a servant, and the last will get me some piety, which will get me a servant. And then, now that I'm level 4 here, I got everything I need. I can spend a builder, a servant, and a resource to build these small gardens. The first will get me a bit of piety. And then I will go up on the trader's track, which does get me a servant. Go up on the, did I go up on performers? Yeah, the performers track, which doesn't get me anything. And then the priest track again, which gets me another servant. Oh, okay, this is gonna be good. So I can spend all 3 of those soldiers on the wall guard. First will get me nothing, and the next will get me a bit of discipline, which gets me a builder back, which will be very helpful. Then the last gets me a cohort, and I will go with the right one to put me at 2 at each. Because then I can use this builder down here, and then I can spend these 2 resources on the wall. The first will get me a bit of renown, which doesn't really do anything, but the next gets me a civilian. Okay, this may not be the best move. I mean, I was trying to debate. I mean, I could spend the servants up here and go for that, or I could build the small precinct. I mean, I guess it would probably be best just to go for this. I guess I'll go for that. I was gonna build the small precinct. I was heavily considering it, but I think this is maybe the better option because they get me the same things at the end of the day. but I would have had to do a bit more work to get that. I would have to use like a form to get that, and yeah, I don't know if that was worth it. See, the main thing now is I have this extra resource, which I don't really know what I'm gonna do with. So, I mean, I could put this here, get a soldier, put it there, and do something with that, but like, I'll still only have one resource. I could have two if I put something down here, but then that would still be one shy from getting like that. So yeah, I don't really know. Maybe I'll just do something like, yeah, civilian there, on this track to get me a soldier, which I'll put on the fort, which gets me a civilian back. Now, honestly, probably just start moving down the patrician's track down here, because I don't really have, I haven't gone down that track at all, so probably should do that at some point. Then I will spend one resource on the wall and get nothing from it, and then the other resource just on my sippy, I suppose, and also get nothing from that. With that, we're at the end of year number 3. 5 picks are going to be attacking. Okay, this is maybe going to start getting a little tricky, because I got 2, 2, and 2. There's 5 picks attacking. I do have a favor, but I don't like those odds. Got center. We got center. Okay, just don't hit center again. We got right. We got right, so just be left. Okay, it was right, but that's okay, because I do have my one favor. So I will protect against that and still take no disdain. So because of that, I get another 2 valor. All right, let's see what my supply card is. All right, and then what are my path card options? Either total gladiator strength or resource production. That's kind of a no-brainer in my opinion. I'm gonna go for resource production and get an extra servant and resource because of the path card. Then my board gets me 3 resources. Cool, and then my hotel gets me a civilian. With that, we are on our way with year number 4. So year number 4, you know me, one thing I'm always gonna do in year 4 is spend 2 servants, a builder, and 2 resources to build that dang courthouse, because it is very useful. Gets me a renown, which is also useful to get me another civilian. And then now that I have the courthouse built, and since it is year 4, I can go ahead and use its first ability to get me a servant. Okay, then I will spend 2 civilians up here on the trader's track, mainly to get me a builder. And then I will use that builder along with a servant and 2 resources to build the medium temple. That will get me a bit of piety. Actually, real quick, I'm going to kind of retroactively do something. Right before, when I had the builder, before I built that, I'm going to use the courthouse abilities twice. I would essentially just net me an extra servant. I will then spend a servant and a civilian up here to build the small precinct. That will get me some piety, which gets me a servant back, along with a resource production and a resource. Okay, I will use both of these servants in the medium temple to start filling that in a little bit, and I will get some piety from that. Okay, I will spend a soldier on the fort, and then my other soldier just up here on the wall guard, because then I can spend 2 resources, first on the sippy, and that will allow me to fill in a cohort. I will go with the center one, which will get me a bit of discipline, and then I could spend my other resource over here on the wall now, and that will get me a bit of renown, along with another cohort to fill in, which at this point I'll go with the left one and get a bit more discipline. So as the end of year 4, we're gonna have 7 picks attacking. Okay, so I'm sitting at 3, 3, and 2. I unfortunately don't have any extra favors, so I'm really just kind of going out on a limb here. Let's see how this goes. So left, center, left, and center again. Okay, we got left again, so I'm maxed out on left. They broke through on the left, and another one hit center. So unfortunately, one did break through. Because one broke through, I will be unfortunately taking a disdain. But I do get 2 valor from that still, so I do get a soldier. Let's see what my supply card is. All right, no resources from that. That's kind of annoying, but whatever. And then let's see what my path cards are. Either landmarks or cohorts. I'm probably going to go with cohorts because landmarks, that's a tough one. And it will also get me some resources, which I do need. Then my resource production gets me 4. Cool. And then I get a civilian from my hotel. And with that, we're on our way with year number 5. So I think the first thing I'll do is use the courthouse to get, let's see, it's year 5. And yeah, I probably just want extra servants. So I'll use all the abilities to basically just get me 2 servants. But then I will spend 2 servants along with a builder and 2 resources to build the baths. That's so annoying. One pick gets through, and I have to make an entire building just to deal with the situation. But spending a resource, year is number 5, and I will clear up my 1 disdain. I will spend my builder on the fort, and that will get me a civilian. I will spend one of my soldiers also on the fort, and then I can spend, let's see here, 2 resources on the sippy. The first will get me a civilian, and the next will get me a cohort to fill in, which I will go with the right one. And that will get me a discipline, which gets me a builder. Because then I can spend that builder on the fort, and that'll get me discipline and another cohort to fill in, which at this point, I'll probably go with the right, since that one didn't get hit at all last year. Then I will spend those 2 soldiers on the wall guard. The first will get me a bit of discipline, and the next will get me a cohort, which I will go with, I suppose, the center one. I'll then spend 1 resource on the performers track, which will get me a servant. I will spend 2 civilians down here on the patricians track, which gets me a soldier. I'll immediately spend them to do some scouting, and I will fill in this left-hand column to get me 2 resources. Because then I can use all 3 of those resources on my wall. The first one gets me nothing, the next gets me a civilian, and then the last spot gets me another cohort to fill in, which I will fill in the left one, putting me at 4 at each of my cohorts. I will spend a civilian down here on the patricians track. That bumps up my renown, which gets me a civilian back. Dang. What I really wish, I've been trying to math this out. As far as I can see, I can't do what I want to do, which is finish the medium temple and get to that resource production. I can't do both. At least as far as I can see. I've been trying to math it in my head, trying to see what kind of crazy combos I can do. I'm not seeing anything. I think I just have to choose one. So I'm going to choose definitely the medium temple. So I will spend 2 servants there first. I can only do the first level. Okay, so that gets me some piety. That's fine because I can spend my 1 civilian on the priest track. That'll get me some more piety, which gets me another servant. And then I can spend both of these servants in here in the medium temple. So the first gets me nothing, the next gets me a bit more piety along with a favor, which should be pretty helpful. Then at this point, I don't know what I want to do. I might just do something like spend the civilian on the priest track and then spend that servant along with that one, both on mining and foresting. And with that, we're done with year number 5. There's going to be 9 picks attacking. Okay, we got 9 picks attacking. We got 4, 4, and 4 along with 1 favor. So maybe an okay position. We'll see. We got left and right, center. Okay, even spread so far. We got left and center and right. Okay, still an even spread. I'm liking this. We got left and what else? Another left. That's not good. Just don't be left. It's left again. So I'm taking, of course. Well, I actually, no, wait. That's 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I do have my favor, so I'm not taking another disdain. That was close, though. I almost took 1. So, because of that, I get 3 Valor, and that gets me another Soldier. All right, let's see what my final supply card is. All right, and then my final 2 path cards, either Final Disdain or Completed Wall Guard section. I would go with Disdain, because those are both pretty good quests. I like them both, but yeah, Disdain, I'm going to be focusing on a little bit more. So that gets me an extra builder and civilian. Then my resource production gets me 4 resources. All right, and then my small hotel gets me a civilian. With that, we're on our final way with the final year. So first thing I'm going to do is build a large granary, since I'm going to have to do that probably at some point anyway. So let's go ahead and get that done and get my renown from that. Then I will go ahead and, let's see, I can't use that twice. So let me go ahead and spend a civilian first, give me a bit of discipline, which does get me an extra builder. And then I will at least use the courthouse ability once to get me a servant. Okay, first I will spend a servant up here to get some resource production along with a resource. I will then spend a builder down there along with, I'll spend both builders actually, and that will get me another civilian. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to spend a civilian down there to get a builder and spend that builder along with that servant and 2 resources to construct the large gardens. First will get me a bit of piety. Now I'll go up the trader's track, and then the performer's track, and then the priest track, which gets me a bit more piety, which gets me a servant back. That track I'm already maxed out at, and then down here patricians gets me a resource. I will then spend 2 resources here on the wall. The first will get me some renown, and the next will get me a civilian. I'm then gonna spend 3 civilians up here on the trader's track to basically get a resource and a builder, which I'm gonna go ahead and spend that builder on the fort. I'll do the old spend a civilian up here on the trader's track. That gets me some renown, which gets me that civilian back. I'll spend this civilian up here on the priest track, which will get me a servant. And then I'll also go ahead and spend I'll spend all 3 of those soldiers up here on the wall guard, which will get me a bit of discipline. And then I can fill in another cohort, which I will go with, I guess this is the center one, I suppose, and get a bit of valor because of that. I will then do a form with these 2 servants to get a builder, which I will put on the wall, which will get me a civilian. At this point, I was trying to complete as many citizen tracks as I can. It looks like it's only gonna be 3, which really won't make a point difference up here, but whatever, I'll still do what I can. Spend a civilian up there to get a resource, and then spend all my 3 resources first up here to get some renown, the next right there, the final resource there to get me a bit of renown, and a final cohort to fill in. I will go with the left one. No, I'll go with the right one, because then they'll get me a bit more valor, and then I will get a soldier back. Which a soldier doesn't look like they could probably do me anything. If they were to scout, that still wouldn't probably do me much, because I would just get a resource and a servant. Neither would get me any points. Yeah, I think the soldier's just gonna go on the wall guard, and that's gonna be that. We're gonna have 11 picks attacking. Okay, I got 4, 5, and 5. I also just realized I didn't complete any of my cohorts, so I'm not gonna get any points for that, so this is not gonna go good. I don't have any favors left. I can't take any disdain or else I will lose the fort, so let's see how this goes. Center, left, center, right, center, center. We got left, center again, so I'm at what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so I'm maxed out on center, and it's center again, so I have lost. We got left and right, so wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 center. I only had 5. I didn't have any more favors, so with that I'm taking a disdain and losing. Well, unfortunately with that disdain, that's going to be a loss. I think it was going to be a loss anyway. I had an okay start, but I just felt like, I don't know, I couldn't really get some things going, and I mean, I know I wasn't gonna have enough points up here with my path cards, and I probably wasn't gonna hit 70 anyway. So, worthy attempt, but I'm gonna have to give this one another go. Thank you so much for watching though. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be greatly appreciated. I'll be back next time doing the next fort, so subscribe if you wanna see that. And if you wanna see one of my recent videos, click up there in the top right corner of the screen.